Now let us understand why the GST came. Now this is the example which will make you understand that what was happening before GST, and in the next slide we'll see what is actually the benefit and beauty or advantage of GST. Say friends, in the old system before GST, what used to happen, always there are main four pillars in the marketing system, that is one: manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer and consumer. When manufacturer was buying certain goods at say 10,000 and he was adding say 10,000 from his side, adding 10,000 means he was actually adding certain other material, he was paying to his workers and certain other expenses which the manufacturer was incurring. That was say total into 10,000, and with this the total cost of manufacturer was 20,000. On this 20,000 he used to pay central excise duty. Excise duty is the tax on goods manufactured. It is not totally abolished, to a certain extent it is there, but majority of excise duty, which we'll see in the later next slide, that it is now subsumed and now GST is there. So earlier on this 20,000, every manufacturing concern was paying, say now rate we have taken for convenience purpose 18%. So 18% of 20,000, say 3,600 was the excise duty paid by the manufacturer. Now this excise duty is that duty without payment of which no manufacturer is allowed to remove the goods either from the factory or go down for sale. After adding this excise duty, the total was coming to 23,600. And on that, every state government is having its taxes. For example, in Maharashtra, we have Maharashtra value added tax, that is called VAT. And so that was say 18%. So again on 23,600, 18% was 4248. And then that total was 27,848. Now this was becoming the price for the wholesaler, because wholesaler was to buy goods from, and today also wholesaler buys goods from manufacturer. After wholesaler is buying goods from manufacturer, then he is adding certain amount to that in terms of his expenses and his material use, etc. And so that is coming to 2152. So total cost to wholesaler was 30,000. Then excise duty is payable only by manufacturer, so wholesaler paying excise duty question doesn't arise. But then wholesaler was to, and under new system is paying GST. So wholesaler was paying value added tax on that 30,000 at 18%, which was coming to 5,400. But that time also, whatever VAT he had paid to the manufacturer at the time of purchase, which we can see in the first column 4248, that was given to him as a input tax credit. So VAT you have to pay on the goods which you are selling. At the same time, what VAT you have paid on the purchases you have made, that VAT is to be subtracted, because value added tax means it is the tax on the value added by you. And here you can see the value added by wholesaler is only 2152. So on 2152, wholesaler is only supposed to pay 18%, and that comes to 5,400 minus 4248. So the system is, when you are selling the goods, you have to pay VAT. That was the old system, and whatever VAT was paid at the time of purchases, that was allowed as input tax credit, which is also there under new system of GST. So ultimately, the final price that wholesaler was charging to retailer was 31,152. After that, retailer was adding, say, his expenses and his material, etc., to the extent of 3848, and then that was coming to 35,000. On that 35,000, he was supposed to pay 18% VAT, which was 6,300. Again, the VAT paid by retailer to wholesaler in the bill was 5,400 on the purchase side. So that was deducted as input tax credit or VAT. So ultimately, 35,900 was the price of that particular goods charged by retailer to consumer. So a consumer was paying 35,900 under the old system of taxes before GST. Now let us take the same example under the new system of GST, and we'll see what ultimately consumer is paying and how much consumer is saving. Taking the same example under new GST system, manufacturer is buying goods for 10,000. He is adding value from his side for material and other expenses, including wages of workers, 10,000. That is totaling to 20,000. On that, 18% GST is payable by him. So that is 3,600, and that totals to 23,600, which manufacturer is charging to wholesaler. So for wholesaler, the purchase cost is 23,600. Again, we have taken same value addition 2152, which we had taken in the previous slide from the wholesaler side. So wholesaler cost comes to 25752. On that, wholesaler is supposed to pay 18% GST, that is 4635. But again, whatever GST he had paid to manufacturer, that was there in the purchase bill, 3,600, that will be deducted as a input tax credit for GST paid on purchases. So ultimately, the actual GST paid by wholesaler on his value addition is actually 18% of 2152, and that you can see 4635 minus 3,600. So that is how the total final amount that wholesaler is charging to retailer comes to 26,787. Now, when this becomes the purchase price for retailer, again retailer is adding say value of material and expenses, wages, etc. from inside. That is 3848. That was there same in the previous slide. So his cost comes to 30,635. Again on that he is charging 18% GST. But again, what GST he had paid to wholesaler, which we can see in the previous column, 4635, on the purchase side, that will be available as input tax credit for GST paid on purchases. And finally, the price that retailer is charging to consumer is 31,514. Now, friends, when we compare this with the earlier price from the previous slide under old tax system before GST, it was 35,900. And you can see here the consumer is saving almost 4,386 rupees for that particular goods. Why this is there? Because there is no cascading effect. Under old system, that excise duty paid on the side of purchases was not allowed as input tax credit. At the same time, the burden of other taxes like value added tax on that excise duty was there, having a cascading effect, and ultimately it was making consumer to pay price on the higher side. So that is avoided with the GST. And the beauty is that GST is paid by every person at every stage. Like, see, manufacturer is paying GST. Say in this case, it is 3,600. Wholesaler is paying GST. It is 4635 minus 3,600. And retailer is paying GST. It is 5510 minus 4635. So every person in the chain, manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, they are paying GST on the value added by them. And that is how the GST works. So, friends, from this example, you must have understood why GST is there and what is the benefit GST is having to the consumer. But one biggest benefit of the GST system is that only one type of tax is there in place of so many other taxes, and the manufacturer and wholesaler, retailer, etc. They have to maintain only records of GST paid on purchases and GST payable on sales, and then input tax credit calculation, which we'll see in the next slide.